Hi, hello, welcome to another episode of Silent Voice. This is Divya. We are discussing today about psychological development of the child. Today we have here our Guruji to answer all our questions. Welcome, Guruji.
Thank you so much.
So, Guruji, today we're going to talk about psychological development of child. So, can you enlighten us how different aspects of the child, like cognitive, emotional, and social growth, all these can be developed
Well,
from child.
in this Divya, in this episode, I'm not going to discuss the cognitive developments, the uh, the different that I will take it up in the next session. When I say the psychological development, of the entire development process. So this is psychological as well as emotional as well as the spiritual aspect of any development of a child from zero to
Mhm.
onwards till the adolescence. So I have segmented into the few parts where it is about the infant, it is about the toddler, it is about the preschool, school age, and adolescence. So I will just present the one side of it, and then you can ask questions related to the each one of them. So being an infant, the child, the few segments that we are going to discuss is the one is the development polarity. So when a person develops himself, there is always a polarity to that development. Nothing is absolute. If you develop a one side, definitely there is a counter side also which is present. So we consider the child as a very pure being, and if we take that as the basis, the polarity of the white is black and polarity of black is white. On that basis, the child in this phase, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm extremely sorry. The child goes to the basic trust versus the mistrust. So the basic trust issue which has been created or the trust issue has been established in this phase. So every parent, every caretaker, every teacher has to look after the when we are talking about the development of the child, we need to look into these areas and focus that he develops a good amount of trust versus the mistrust. So every child from a spiritual being, he develops an ego state because ego is necessary to operate in this reality. Ego has always been considered separate. Ego has always been considered as something that not desirable. We should dilute the ego. But the fact is, the ego is the part of the soul. It's a shadow of the soul, and it is connected with the soul. So the third dimension or the third aspect of this age is the power,
Mm.
and that's the beingness. The beingness starts at this phase of the infancy, and the basically the issues which the child goes through is the it's about the healthy success. It's
Mhm.
about the uh, healthy narcissism. It's all about the codependency. It's all about the healthy codependency. That now he started depending on the mother or father, and that is how the relationship issues are formed in this infancy stage. Only on narcissism, only on the codependency. Any
Okay.
questions?
Oh, yeah, yeah, Guruji. So you mentioned about the trust and mistrust will be formed in the child, like in the early stages. So is it something like, so like when I hear about psychology podcast, so I hear about um, stable relationship, anxious avoidant and anxious, like anxious kid doesn't have like trust and always feels anxiety about the caretaker, like when growing up in the child. So that anxious kid takes to the relationship as well. They always be clingy, they always be need, like even in their adulthood to the partner. And also even for the same avoidant, they don't trust the caregiver at all. So is it something similar? Because I hear it is formed in the early childhood, so something
The
uh,
trust issue is how the child is being handled. Basically, it comes from there.
caregiver. Mm,
It is how you lift the child, how you hold the child. The trust issue comes from there.
wow, that's
Then
this
how
notice.
what is the emotion that is going on in your mind when you pick up a child? That is going to affect a child in a big way.
Wow. So it starts from there with the touch and with the emotion, what we're thinking. Wow, that's.
Yes.
And you also mentioned about healthy narcissism and healthy codependency. So when we hear these days in the podcasts in psychology, so these are doesn't have, like we shouldn't consider those. We should come out of those. People tell those. Like I never heard the term healthy narcissism. So what does that mean, healthy narcissism?
See, the healthy narcissism is purely means that he starts understanding that he exists. He starts understanding that the mother is there. So there are only two people. Actually, in his mind, initially, he is only 100% dependent on the mother, he or she.
Correct. That's
So,
codependent.
narcissism is a person who actually only thinks about himself.
Right.
So, basically, when he is born psychologically, it is like, he never realized that I exist. His existence is realized by the touch of the mother, by the hunger, by
Mm.
the sense of insecurity, by the how he's been handled, where is he. So these are his thoughts in his mind. These are the rather feelings, not the thoughts, emotions in his mind, which is running.
Mm.
So he starts understanding himself is the narcissism, which is the healthy narcissism.
Okay. So for the child, so not like basically as a child, we all are narcissists. So
We
while
have to be.
growing,
It's not the kind of the narcissism that it's a negative narcissism that the psychologists talk about.
correct. Okay, it's while this helps for the development of like the child
Yeah,
and
without you knowing,
who the
without
child
you
is.
knowing yourself, how is that you are going to operate? And that is how you are dependent on the mother, and that is the realization a child has.
Correct, correct.
Is he
So
going to? Is the child can get the food that he or she requires?
only through mother,
Water,
only through mother or father.
child care, the basic necessity of urinating,
Mm.
all that cleanliness, all that he is completely dependent on the mother. So when he's wet, he is going to cry and tell that, okay, I need that the sensitivity is showing. So it's a bonding, it's a codependency that has been developed. I'm completely dependent on you. That is what he's saying to the mother.
Oh, so Guruji, extended question of the two topics you have given. So let's say if the child has basic trust was not given, uh, will the child be heavily codependent on mother, like heavily clingy on the mother, or any
No,
care?
no. That is what I'm saying. Before asking these questions, go through the development, and then you can have a substantial question in the overall scenario. So you have questions for the first, only the stage-wise questions, and then an overall scenario.
Okay. Hmm. Okay.
What is
Uh,
happening that we are taking up the questions pertaining to the different development stages in the first stage itself.
okay. So in the end, I'll try
And
to.
you have a different question. So your question pertaining to the subject matter, that is the stage, that
Mm.
can be different.
Okay.
And the overall question will come at the later stage.
Okay. Okay. So
Make sense?
yeah, yeah, good.
So can we go for the second stage?
Yeah, sure.
In this stage, what happens is the development polarity is about the automation versus shame and doubt.
Mm.
Autonomy versus shame and doubt. The ego state is of willpower, and the relation. The power is about sensing and doing. He sends and he does. She sends and she does. The power comes from there, and the relationship issues are more of a psychological uh, and counter development. Psychological birth happens at this place. Now, which is the counter development? It is not the process of real development, because physically he has taken birth, but psychologically his birth happens at the toddler stage. I hope you have understood this aspect.
Um. So when you talk about shame, so how the shame starts? Like something he gets embarrassed about, or someone says something, or
Yes,
he.
definitely. He is, see, first of all, child is very incapable. Okay, he doesn't have power or control over anything. He's just beginning. So, okay, he does something and he doesn't know whether to do this or not is the right thing or not.
Yeah.
He does something and suddenly somebody scolds him, says, "Don't do this. You can't do this." He doesn't understand that. Have we taught him first that, okay, this is what you need to do, this is what you don't need to do? Without that, you scold him. You put it that you are not doing right. So the two things happen. He feels ashamed that I have done something,
Mm,
without actually realizing that what he should do, what he's not informed about it.
right.
The biggest challenge is that we as a parent or a caretaker is assumes
Yeah.
that he knows. We
Yeah.
forget to program the child in many
Right.
cases.
Yeah. Since we know all the things in the real
We
world,
know that, and we
this.
presume that he knows or she knows.
Yeah, that's unfair. That's too unfair. We don't think in perspective of child. We never.
And the guilt comes from the fact that the whatever which is natural you should do it, naturally you are supposed to do, but beliefs are instilled in you that you are doing something wrong against the nature. Okay, you are doing
Oh.
illegal, immoral, whatever the connotation that you uses.
Mm,
Fundamentally, what is natural and which is we design that as not to be done. Now, I give a very simple example. The child, that will make you understand very simply. Child wants to explore. Okay, he explores his body.
Mm,
He
mm,
touches his, he or she touches the genital. It's a natural process.
right.
But the mother and father puts the child to shame only on that topic.
Mm,
Puts them in the guilt that you are not supposed to do this.
correct.
I don't know why are we afraid of what?
I don't know, something they got from their parents.
No, it's the condition that we have. No?
Mm,
Okay, if I see if he touches anything anywhere, it's okay.
mm,
It's just so much confusion the person has got
mm,
in
mm,
his mind. What should I do? What should I not do? So the guilt is established there. The shame is established there.
right.
So
Mm,
this is a stage where the shame and this behavioral aspects instilled in a child. Now,
mm,
if you have an overall look at how things are, then it will make a lot of sense to you that the whole development stages, and when I correlate this development stages with the competency and the intelligence that the child develops, so we seize these points. We what I say that when a shame is felt, the guilt is felt, the emotions are frozen at the same time. And then it takes a very long journey in the life to unfreeze those emotions.
oh, uh, so like give an example, Guruji. So I'm curious about this, like how emotions get frozen and like how we recognize, like the person will never know their emotions got frozen. They think it's the way of life, like this is how they are.
I had one case, in that lady, when she talks, suddenly she changes her voice to like a childlike.
Oh.
She talks like a child. Now that is considered to be a normal, natural thing. But for me, it is not normal and natural. For me, I look at it that his childhood is frozen somewhere. His development is frozen. So there is an inner child which is operating. So whenever that the threat or something that uncomfortable state, something that she encounters, she starts speaking like a child. So it is her defense mechanism. Now it takes a very long time. Everything that we exhibit, I'm going to put a very disturbing fact to all the audience who are listeners. And I was going to listen to this that whatever you are living, you are not living your true self. You are living what has been caged in you between 0 to 7 years. And you are encountering the situations based on the memories that you have created in your mind and the experiences you have coded in your mind and the beliefs that you have instilled through the parental upbringing. You are living only that. You have yet to go through a lot to understand what the freedom means.
You're just
A
locked
person
in.
cannot go, an adult, she cannot go out and make an independent choice of the dress that I should have married, having
Mm,
kid.
mm,
She calls a mother and asks, what dress should I buy? Pink or blue?
mm, mm.
Approval, that dependency. There are mother who create such dependency in the child. And they thrive on the dependency for the entire life. So the challenges are enormous, enormous, enormous. OCDs.
Oh,
compulsive behaviors, insecurity, fear, negative feelings, codependency,
narcissism.
narcissism, whatnot, everything is covered in that.
Wow. So in this stage, they all will be there.
One of the thing, so in each stage, the each installment, each thing is instilled step by step. This is development. We have to take care at this time. If we take care, suppose we take care of it in a infancy, it won't work.
Mm,
Because
mm,
this psychological development is to understand that I I am there. I can feel myself. I know I exist. And I know there is somebody, a female which is existing, taking care of me.
mm. So
So
Guruji,
that beginning happens. So in this stage, only that aspect needs to be taken care more. We start taking care of the child when you go through what the child should do in adolescence. We expect them to be trained in toddler state.
mm, mm. Right, right.
See, as far as the Western countries are concerned, the way you can take care of child, there are strict laws and rules. And if you're not taking care, your child is taken away from you.
Right.
You are not supposed to bring your child. But that's not the case in India. India is so bad a situation, developing countries for that matter. You take Nepal, Bengal, African states, Asian states, Indian states.
Yeah. Lot of
It should be made.
beatings.
It should be made as the way we treat the female. It is criminalized. Okay, now if you cannot treat a female in a particular way that has been defined by the law, the same you are not supposed to take care of your senior citizens in the house, and they can call the police and take actions against you.
Mm,
These laws exist, but nothing happens. So
mm.
even if the child in India, it is not possible. Indian parents really needs to be more aware.
Because I mean, a lot of people will be handled like not only the caregivers, right? So other people will be handled, other people will be touching their child. We don't know what the intention, what the emotions. So not only from caregivers, the different kind of things will be coming from different people. That's
See, I have gone through many aspects of child's development. Okay, in understanding what is an education system available, how our schools are horrible and terrible.
agreed.
In India, it's really horrible and terrible. If somebody can analyze the teacher's impact on the child and how the entire class has been taken care of, the major psychological issue starts there. First at home, the second at school.
Okay.
We do not understand something called reforms. We do not understand what exactly care that the child needs. We are not sensitive towards that. Anyway, let's move on to the third topic,
Yeah.
if you permit me.
Yeah, Guruji.
So, in the third stage, what happens is, as I told you, the psychological in the development, in the now here, the child comes in the preschool. and he starts recognizing I'm something. So what that something means, either he is a male or he's a female, or
Hmm.
she's. Here the development polarities are initiatives versus guilt, and the ego strength is purpose. Now he starts defining the purpose, understanding the purpose. Yes, I have to live. I have to live for this, for this, for this, for this. In
Hmm.
here, the identity is created, and the power game is imagining and feeling. His imagining and feeling starts at this stage,
Hmm.
and then he starts feeling independent. So
Independent.
if you go
Hmm.
through the previous stages of that, the first stage is symbolic bonding starts where I am you. For he cannot differentiate you and me. It's I am you, you are me. That is with mother. In the first stage, the basic polarity is the basic trust versus the mistrust.
Hmm.
Now, if you see this in this second stage, that becomes an autonomy versus shame and guilt.
Hmm.
Here, he is I am me. Now, the
Yes.
age factor is here is I forgot to mention the age. In the toddler, it is 9 months to 18 months.
Hmm.
This is an exploration stage,
Yeah. Hmm.
which is the first stage. The second is the 18 months to 3 years.
Hmm.
So, if you understand, the preschool starts at 3 to 6 years. Now, I'll finish other two and then we can have a quite long discussion on that. In the school age, 6 years to puberty is a school age. Here, the development polarity is industry versus the inferiority. That means working or you feel inferior. Either you work or you feel inferior. On the ego level, it is all about the competence.
Hmm. Right.
On the
Yeah.
power, like on the power stage, it is all about knowing and learning. His entire focus is only knowing and learning. Know something, learn something, know something, learn something.
Hmm.
That's the power he gets from. When I say power, what I exactly mean that the power comes from what? The learning and knowing.
Learning.
And compared to that, the power comes from the imagination and the feeling in the previous state, that is preschool. In prior to that, the sensing and doing, the power comes from there. In the first stage, it comes from the hope.
Hmm.
So your power state changes according to your age into the sensing and doing and imagining and feeling and knowing and learning. The relationship issue is interdependence and cooperation. So being in the school, he starts learning about cooperating with the family, cooperating with mother, father, cooperating with peers, cooperating with these teachers, with the society, with everything. And that purely depends on the identity which is created at the spirit school. Unless an identity is created, the social interactions will not happen. Unless the basic needs are met, the identity cannot be built on that. So first two stages, you build the basic necessity, you get yourself fulfilled, then you start knowing who you are, and you create an image about yourself, and then you move towards the interaction with the world. And in the adolescence, which is which is approximately 13 to 26 years, in that the development polarity is identity versus the role confusion.
Hmm.
His entire confusion starts in this time. So basically, if you look at it at 0 to 7, I personally segment it as 0 to 7, 7 to 14, 14 to 21, 21 to 28. So
21
in
to
this stage,
28.
Pardon?
21 to 28?
Yes, 21 to 28.
Okay.
So here the all ego strength comes from the fidelity. Fidelity is not only about the sexual intimacy or sexual or the relationship commitments. It is about every aspect of life.
Mhm.
The power comes from here is from the regeneration. What are you regenerating? And the relationship issue is faced with this age from 13 onwards. The child starts drifting from the family.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it is perfectly okay. We should be actually we should allow him. But that becomes an issue for us. So these are certain polarities which I will discuss with you. Now, based on this, you can ask me questions.
So we'll talk about the last one. Um, in the school age, child is looking for his own identity, and the child is drifting away from family. Like, why is that so?
It
Child,
is that is adolescence.
yeah, adolescence. So, why the child want to drift away from the family? So, does a child want to explore the world?
It's all
And
about the independence. If I am independent, see, we basically are explorers. If I want to explore myself, what I need to unchain myself
yeah,
from all the bondings that I am feeling within the family.
yeah, we need
I
freedom.
am not allowed to create something on my own. I
Exactly.
am bonded by the family values, the legacy,
Mm, mm, mm.
the beliefs that have been imposed on me. So the issue is from the what is independence and what is family. There is always a confusion on the identity versus the role.
Yeah, yeah. Does the confusion exist because um, the child want to come out and the child don't have enough money to survive, and the child again wants to depend on the family? Is it something like self-contradictory, and that's why the confusion?
Absolutely no. It is a purely psychological and it is not conditional on whether the child has money or child doesn't have money or whether what condition is this. This is an inner process that goes on with the person. It applies to all.
Hmm.
The model that I have presented you is applicable to all.
So, like the different stages you presented, like as a child, as an toddler, as preschool, school, adolescent. So is this theme same for all humans, like all the
Yes, all humans, all conditions. And when
so
things are not, when things are frozen, and then you start facing challenges.
like like in the last podcast you mentioned, uh,
Yeah,
when the parent dies,
codependence.
child,
Yeah.
they directly get into adult, from as like a child to adult. So
Yes.
okay, okay, this supposed to be the pattern, and this pattern like the template of the child or child development.
Yes.
So if anything got disturbed, the child will get frozen at that point of time, and it will be affected in the future. Unless until it's resolved, you cannot have you cannot enjoy your own freedom, and you never know who we are. So interesting, Guruji.
Now let's look this as a different perspective before you ask any question to me. See why I call this as a universal. Okay, why I call this as something that has to just look at the different stages. I am you. Now, child and the mother, think about that. When it is I am you, it is child and the mother. In the second stage, I am me. Now, from that, there is a separation. That I recognize that, oh, I am me. In the
Mm.
second stage, then I know my gender.
Oh, yeah.
I've been told that you are a male. I've been treated like that.
Yeah.
Now, in this case, if the family is expecting a male child and the female comes, that will
Mm.
be an impact on the female in this
Definitely,
identity issue.
for sure.
She will be confused whether I'm a male or a female
Yeah.
in the mind, not in physical sense, in the psychological state.
Sometimes they wish they wanted to be boy, the girl child.
Yes. And then they behave like boys. And these are the impressions that they carry from the prenatal. That's the stage where they are pregnant and they are in the womb. If they hear parents talking about it, it
Mm.
impacts their development, it impacts their genes, it impacts their DNA, it impacts everything.
Oh my God.
So in the third fourth stage, you start after you know that either I'm a male or a female. Now it doesn't matter. It now matters is I'm capable of doing something.
Mm. Yeah.
This is we called as a latency period. In now you say that I'm my unique self. In the adolescent, that state come. Now look at the psychological journey, and then you start exploring this journey.
Mm.
And that is how you face the reality, the world, and then you come back and you create your own world within, and then you interact with that world, and then you realize, and then that is how you start your spiritual journey. So the basic is that you are separated, you are made to play your part and the role on the stage of the earth, and then you come back to your own realization who you are, the purest soul that you have come as.
Yeah, it's fascinating, Guruji. So, like when you mention it starts with I am you, like we are a whole, we are together. So, how the person changes from like, okay, I'm you, then I'm me. Like now I am this boy or girl. So something like I can do something. Some the power changes, the way of thinking changes at each stage. And the fun part is when we go to the spiritual journey, we again think back, I'm you, like we are all the same. So isn't that like for me it's fascinating. So whatever we started with, we end up circling to the same thing. So somewhere we lost ourselves in the middle and again we want to find
That's an
ourselves.
exploration, that's an experiential. That is what it is, experiencing, expressing
So
our uniqueness.
in order to be the whole again, we need to separate from that and understand why the
Yes.
separation is needed, and then we have to come back.
So now let me put you in a different context. Okay, when I say, when do we feel that I am you?
Hmm. When do I feel I'm you? If
In
there is,
the after we go on different stages, we are independent, and then when do we feel that?
if we accept each other completely,
No, that is where we feel each when we are falling into the love. The
okay.
first stage is that you if you're completely like somebody, that you become that. No, you
Mm,
don't feel that separation in that love.
right.
In this
So,
romantic relationship, you re-feel that moments.
mm, so that is for okay. Like love is not just in romantic relationship, in any relationship we are talking about.
Yes.
Okay. So,
And also when we consummate, the male and female consummate, that is where you dissolve and become only singular. I mean, united, not singular.
Yeah.
You're completely united with your partner.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the repetition of, feeling oneness and moving from that oneness. And you have an experience that, yes, you are one and you can become one with the universe.
Mm.
That's the taste that the nature has given us. That's a reminder. I would call this as a reminder.
Mm.
I would call this as an attempt to get into the state of oneness
Mm.
without our awareness. Otherwise, why would we so attracted towards if the sex was not made an attractive, or the intimacy was not so attractive or not so desirable, we would cease to exist in this world.
I think it's the way of nature,
Yes.
the way of nature,
So we
and
can't talk, or we can't go against the laws of nature.
mm, mm,
Majority, in my personal experience dealing with my clients on a regular basis, what I see, find out that the all, apart from all the challenges of the life that person has gone through, the roots are in 0 to 7 years.
mm,
And quickly understanding the problem and locating the problem and resolving at that level, where you get an immediate relief.
oh wow. So is like we being, let's say like I have a problem, so like which I don't know, so like I've passed through these many years, so will it be that easy to resolve as well, or will it gonna take time as
Depends, certain
well?
issues. Like, for example, you give me uh, uh, the most challenging aspect that everybody faces is the abuse. So, if you give me a session, if you take a session, I can release your abuse in one session. If you give me that comfort, if you are ready, I'll give you that comfort. Sorry, I will give you the comfort. You should be ready, willing and open to get rid of that pain all the time. And many times you don't know from where your pain is coming.
So we need to be so vulnerable so that you can able to tap into the feeling and you can.
Not the vulnerable, ready to get rid of the pain. Many times we do not want to get rid of pain, ma'am.
We want to hold the pain, so
We
that's what we
definitely
say.
we only are the people who never wants to get rid of pain.
Oh,
Pain is the most comfortable condition the human always feel.
okay. If there is no pain, there is nothing to pursue
There are
next.
so many
Next.
secondary benefits that the person doesn't want to let go.
Oh, like what, Guruji? Comfort and
Many
familiarity.
attention. First is attention. For every pain that comes in attention.
Correct. Yeah, we might lose that attention. We might lose
The
that.
basic is that, oh, nobody's attending me. So
Uh,
I'll create pain to attract the attention. It's a wrong way. The positive way is you can do some good things and get attraction. But you have programmed yourself to be attracted by the pain because of your childhood conditions.
oh my God. So, how a person to know there is something and there is some like in future, like their future going to be better if they let go of the pain. So how
You have to understand one thing. You feel pain in anywhere, in the body, in the mind, in the psychological emotional state, which is really draining you, which is persistent. It is then you have to attend. You have to attend. Any pain means, I've already said number of times. Pain is pay attention immediately now.
Oh. So like everyone does have it. Let's say like at least for me, so I always get the heart pain. So I mean not in the other way. So like I
Emotion.
like very. So like where that might be coming from, like from my childhood. So something, someone didn't take care of me well, something abuse.
So suppose you don't want to suppose you don't want to get into that.
Hmm.
How will you deal with this? We have one misconception
Oh,
to discuss. For suppose you have some pain in the body.
right.
These conditions come from the doctors that we visit. Okay, I'll have to undress myself to show the pain. And psychologically, that's the same condition that we feel in ourselves. And that is why we, at first stage, we may be ridiculed. In the second stage, we feel that
Mm,
because of the trust issue, the person will utilize this against me.
exactly. Yeah.
The third stage, it is like I'm very vulnerable.
Right.
Somebody can hurt me
Mm,
easily if I show my pain. And that is why we hold on to our pain. We
mm.
suppress pain. We don't deal with our pain.
That's too. Uh, so people don't want to show because they're scared, because of
They are
mistrust.
protecting themselves. It is they actually protect themselves. It's a protecting mechanism.
So if someone really genuinely want to help others, so like how can they approach that kind of people and like make them relieve from the pain, or they themselves has to ready for it and they have to come to this person? So how the dynamics work?
See, at some point, the some external situation will push you to attend the issues, and at that time, don't avoid attend it. Take any help. Take help from anybody, therapist, psychologist, psychoanalyst. The problem is that we don't have the true expertise in dealing with these kind of situations. We
Hmm.
are least qualified in doing it. We people we approach are not greatly qualified. Those who are highly qualified, we have to pay a huge amount of money, and the
Hmm.
results takes quite a long time.
And this kind of culture is not normalized in India, like going for therapists, psychotherapists.
Absolutely not.
It's not.
Absolutely. Even we go to the gurus, we go to. I don't think so. We see anything in the world. I have learned one aspect from the unknown person's quote, that is everything you can forgive anything, but what you will not forgive is your neurons. You have to deal with your neurons.
Oh wow.
Neurons,
Yeah.
the connections in the brain.
Hmm.
The connection cannot undo. You have to do something to either create a new connection or you know
Yeah.
disconnect yourself from the previous connections. There
Oh,
is no other way.
oh wow.
Basically, the neurons has to change from within.
Oh my God. So all the impressions were on the neurons. So and we carried the memory, and the stronger the connections, the stronger we. It's hard to let us go to that. So either we
Yes.
need, like
No,
we
it's
need.
not about strong hard. I tell you, neurons are everything is you know, one trial learning.
Hmm. Hmm.
If it is one trial learning, it has to be one trial undoing.
Is it that easy, Guruji? When you said like you can able to get these things off in a one session, so all
Yeah,
this.
very much, and I do it with many people. I'll
Yeah.
demonstrate next time when we come. I'll whichever way, whatever. pain that you want to discuss or you want to invite anybody to do it, deal with online, I'll show it to you. It's not a big science. It's just a few steps you follow and you do it.
Hmm. Wow.
And the best part is that I don't keep a secret with me. I just reveal it to the people. Say, okay, if some other pains are there now, you deal the pain this way. Okay, these are the steps. One, two, three, four, five, six. Do it.
You give all
It'll
the
go.
secrets.
Why not? Why not?
People
I'll
want.
give it next time when we meet because the time doesn't permit right now. Otherwise, I would have given right now. There is hardly any time, to even
I know.
talk and interpret about it. What more interesting for me, I want to present the model. For that, I may require 1 or 2 weeks. I want to present a model step by step as to the development and keep it on record. On the see, my intention is not the how many people watch me. My intention is not that how many people it reaches. My intention is that my whatever I'm saying, it remains digitally forever. It's like a seed; it will grow.
Mhm.
I don't want my content to be forgotten after a few lakhs views.
Yeah, yeah, Guruji. The foundations are so
Whatever
strong.
I am speaking right now, I want it to be so deep within that it remains after some time, after 2 years, 3 years, even if you listen, it should bring a transformation to you.
Mm.
The alarm should be set there and then. I'm nothing against the sharing of knowledge, nothing against the people talking about various situations. I appreciate each and every very good podcast that has been coming these days. I'm absolutely delighted with the kind of the information and the knowledge available for the human beings right now to deal with the experts talking and reaching out to the various part of the world using this tool very effectively for themselves and others. But there is a big challenge in that. And the biggest psychological challenge each one faces is that the knowledge remains here.
Mm.
Application zero. Look at the amount of knowledge that has been spread with the good morning messages.
Yeah.
Do you see a change in that when you drive onto the road in the busy traffic areas? Everybody is displaying their emotions so negative about it.
Yeah.
If that would work, and then things are really working. It is meant to be implemented. It is not meant to be listened. It is not meant to be. It is your cue. It is your, you know, it is your key that you can unlock many things from within.
I think the listening, these things got a lot of them are there. So people got used to listening and not taking actions because no one is looking for them, like looking at them, whether they're taking actions or not.
No, I'm not alleging people. I'm saying that they are listening and acting also. Some of them are do. Those who are sincere, they do it. But most of the time, you will see that the people talk about the knowledge to display that they know better than. It is not about the people who says that I can create a change in myself listening to few people.
It's not a competition. Who is better than who?
So I really appreciate some of the things, and especially it comes to the religious and spiritual teachings. The experience cannot ever be depicted in the words. Some tantric, some gurus, some esoteric knowledge, some mystical knowledge, some secret knowledge. They are being shared. That's phenomenal. And there are stalwart personalities. I'm not talking about an ordinary people, great people. But listening to them, you should take the cue and open up your gates to the learning, applying, and doing. Do not restrict to the listening.
Hmm.
If after listening this, if you ever in the future apply this to your child, that's the satisfaction I get.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I mean it's very enlightening, Guruji. I mean, like, what are your like foundation? It's not you want the publicity or you want like views. You don't want like all those. You just want to impact on a person. Like even one person changes that. Like I know you personally, so you'll be very happy, directly or indirectly, if one word of yours changes them and if we implement them and we change our lives. So that's beautiful.
See the kind of the life I have gone through. So I realize only two things. I feel that I've decided two words as my life motto: simplicity and speed. I want to create simplicity in everything I do, speed in everything I do. For everything I teach and learn, people in their life implement it. They should implement very fast. The change should be very fast. We shall be doing that complete podcast on the competencies each and how the stages of the brain develops. Now we are on the physical development and the intellectual development. The psychological aspect we have discussed here now only. Physical and intellectual, which plays a big role in shaping our life.
Yeah, we're gonna discuss about like the competency, to mention in the next podcast. um, yeah. Yeah, I think so. Is that a wrap for today? Oh.
I'm good to go.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Yeah, we're gonna have nice discussions next week and we'll touch upon another aspects about the child development. Yeah, thank you so much,
Thank you so
Guru.
much.
Thanks for your time.
My pleasure, my pleasure. You getting up in the morning and doing it, it's most creditable to you.
Yeah,
You're in
anything.
a different time zone in US.
Yeah, anything for you, Guruji. Yeah,
Thanks.
thank
Thanks.
you.